So we are looking for get something out of this today, and I'm trying to record that as well. So let's see. Till now what I've done is I've just put the markings on the Nasdaq, SPX, and on the US 30. So as we can see that US 30 is the leader, it's the strongest one in this, while S&P is following US 30 and Nasdaq is the weakest. So let's see what we get at 9:30. And I will keep you updated. And this is going to be a very raw and real video, guys. Look at that, it is moving higher. 23,670.4 is the midnight open for the Nasdaq. Nasdaq was the only one which traded below it in the pre-market session. Now we have got our 9:30 opening price, so let's just mark that. That is the 9:30 opening right there, 678.3. That is the 9:30 opening. Let me also mark that in ES and US 30. So at 9:30 it is moving higher in Nasdaq and US 30. And that is the pre-market buy side, and we fell short of few ticks. And yes, some background music is going on and you are listening to it, so enjoy it, but I don't have any problem in that. Okay, so in Nasdaq you can see it is the weakest, so it is falling very badly. As I told you before, that Nasdaq has taken out the 15-minute sell side liquidity right there, and that is the Friday low. So it is moving in a pretty smooth way towards the downside. Look at that. S&P is now trading below the midnight opening price, but still it has a lot of room for sell side below right here, which is the London sell side. I'm not in hurry to chase. That is good with what is happening. And now US 30 is following its route. This is the pre-market sell side for US 30 or Dow. We have taken out Monday's low. Now we have this sell side 23,485. So let's see if it has the potential to reach here. US 30 came inside this fair value gap on the 15-minute, and as I told you, it is the leader from the morning, but this level 757, 759, it is possible later in this day, or and on 15-minute, this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency is holding the price and send it lower. And guys, yes guys, I'm Indian and I try to speak English. और भाई लोग हिंदी भी आती है, बनारसी भी आती है. So I'm a full on desi guy guys. But I don't know why whenever I talk about markets वो अंग्रेजी अंदर से निकल जाती है. Okay, Nasdaq made a lower low while S&P made a higher low. Let me just send it back so you can get the clear view. Look at that. S&P made a higher low and Nasdaq made a lower low. Right here it made a lower low. So let's see, we still have few minutes for the 950 and 1010 macro to start, so I'm waiting for that कि 950 से 10-10 के अंदर how algorithm will pull it higher or lower. But US, okay, look at that, Dow is taking the lead and breaking higher, and Nasdaq being the weakest, it is still dilly-dallying around the lows and it could not break this gap. Okay, let's see if we can break this. Okay, so now Dow has taken out the pre-market buy side, and that is the first presentation of gap in the US 30. So I will mark it as the first fair value gap. Okay, that is the first gap, and I will extend it right. and this is the first gap for the S&P. Let's see how price reacts inside it, and this gap should act as the inversion. Now let's look at this. Yes, going to spool higher. This gap should not completely fill in. That is something I am looking at. And that is known as SMT. How this made a higher low and Nasdaq made a lower low. Okay, so bodies of the candle staying above the midpoint of that first presented fair value gap. So let's see. I'm looking for higher prices now. Let's see, because I can't enter in US 30 now. Okay, because it is very back and forth kind of price action. Okay, it went inside it and now it is ready to shoot, so I am entering. My stop loss will be just below this. Here I will place it. Okay, on the low of that gap. Excuse me. So that is the buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and this is the inverted fair value gap. So price didn't came inside it. Let's see. And yes guys, this is not market replay. Markets are currently open. Let's see, because Nasdaq is weaker and US 30 is the strongest. Look at that. But we have reached inside the premium array in the US 30. And it needs to break this gap and close higher. So as it is moving in my favor, I'm reducing the risk. And now we are inside the first presented fair value gap for the Nasdaq. So अभी mark कर देते हैं. Now it should break it on the upside. That's what I am expecting. That is the premium array in the US 30. Okay, now I think Dow has taken sorry, S&P has taken out the buy side. And it needs to hold this gap and send it higher. came inside this, but I didn't wanted it to came inside this. Let's see now. US 30 is respecting the premium array midpoint of 15-minute wick. I have marked that, graded that. Oh no, I didn't wanted to see this kind of move. Okay, it's going to take me out. My stop loss got hit because the reason for that is, as I told you, SPX should stay inside this, but it did not. It has taken out the buy side, so now it can move down and take out the sell side. Okay, and this is also resisting the price, Nasdaq being the weakest. Taken a short scalp on the US 30 now. Because it was the highest upswinger on the upside, so now it should move a bit lower. If not, I am going to exit this trade also. It is moving, SPX and Nasdaq is moving in a pretty smooth way now. But I need this gap to be completely closed on the downside, and now it should not come back inside this gap. That's what I am looking for. I don't want it to come back inside this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, and I am looking for it to break this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency on the downside as soon as possible. I am completely removing the risk from the trade. I'm looking for it to break this on the downside completely. Yes, Nasdaq. Now I realized it. I should have exited the trade right here, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm learning. I'm following my processes, and now risk is removed from this trade. Now if it move against me, I will be getting out with a positive stop out. Okay, and we have just 2 more minutes for the 950 and 1010 macro. I want bodies of candles to stay below this gap low, that is the inversion fair value gap I have marked. Okay, so if I mark this gaps, it is supporting the midpoint. Now it has broken the midpoint now, and if I just grade that gap using Fibonacci, so that is the midpoint, it should stay below this and send it lower. If not, I will get out with my positive stop out. I got out with my positive stop out, and that's it. And I am now not interested in pushing. Came back inside this gap, and yes, now 950 has started the macro. But it's fine, we got stopped out. Okay, now I think US 30, look at that, it's just wick through it. Nasdaq made a higher low, and US 30 also made a higher low. Taken out that. Inside this, bodies of the candle sustained there, inside that gap, this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Now I think it can move higher and take out this. A small bet on Nasdaq. Should break this now. Excuse me. Should break that gap on the upside completely. At that, that is the version fair value gap. Okay, now let's see, it can pull higher. Nasdaq, the same logic which I was using here, I'm using once again here at the 950 to 1010 macro. It was not the suitable time, but now it is suitable time for it to send it higher and take out sellers out from here and here in Nasdaq. Because Nasdaq being the weakest, most of people have made their shorts positions on the Nasdaq because it was the weakest. And SPX and Dow is consolidating right there, and SPX is moving higher above the 930 and Sunday's opening again. And now Nasdaq needs to break this swing high, and this gap, which is buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, it should not completely fill in, and in a single move it should break this gap on the upside, which is sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. But now I am taking a partial. Okay, I have taken a partial, reducing the risks for this below the candle right here, because I am scalping, so I need to be micro managing my trades because I respect the risk, and my risk model says you have to focus on reducing the risk. Okay, that's what my risk model says, so I follow it. Okay, it should stay above the midpoint of this gap. And there is no buying and selling pressure. I'm telling you again and again on my short execution videos with my voiceover on Instagram. I'm posting it continuously, and there I'm telling you every day. You can see it has taken out sell side right there below that low. That sell side liquidity got purged on the downside ahead of 950, and at 950 it started pulling the prices higher. This should act as the order block, this down close candle. This looks possible if we break this gap right here, this gap, which is the sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. I mark this right here, that is CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Should break on the upside. That's what I'm anticipating, but I can be wrong, guys, too. That's why I'm using stop loss. That is the very reason I'm using stop loss. Look at that. This is the reason I focus on reducing the risk, because in this trade right here on the short in US 30, I would have been frustrated by this move. Okay, that's why it is pretty important. Manage the risk. Okay, once again it came down, touched the high of this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Let's see, I'm more focused on reducing the risk, so I'm taking my SL to the low of this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, because if it wants to go higher, it should stay up, bodies of the candle should stay above the midpoint of this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and to be precise it is 23594.9. If not, we are wrong and it's going to move lower because it is holding the sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Okay, so now we have came down and touched the midpoint of that sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, but body stayed above right there. Wicks are allowed to do the damage. Okay, SPX is taking the support from the high of first presented fair value gap, that is the 930 opening for the PX. US 30 is just dilly dallying around there. Okay, bodies of the candle respected the midpoint of that buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, but it needs to break higher above this. No, I don't think it's going to do that now. I've exited my trade because it has closed below the midpoint of that gap. It just came down to take me out, I think. Look at that. But it's fine. I'm not interested in pushing any more buttons now. That's for sure. That's it. I'm done for the day. Whatever market gave me, I took it. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found something insightful out of this. हाँ भाइयों, if you find it really insightful and if it is helping you, then you can consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, to be frank guys, I really don't give a fuck about all that. I'm more concerned about the message. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Bye bye, and until next time, be safe.